وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بعد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت باركت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We continue today with the second part of the lecture, Man hum Shi'a Itna Asharia, who are the Shi'a Itna Asharia, an academic exposition where we are going through the books of the Shia and seeing exactly what they themselves they believe and what they teach. It will be the same way as yesterday. I will not say anything from my own self, except that everything will be referenced from the exact book and page number from the books of the Shia. Now, without wasting much time, and there's been a lot of questions, and it was suggested maybe I answer those questions. But if I was to answer those questions, then we cannot complete this lecture. So we try to complete the lecture. We start off today with a quote. Like I said yesterday, maybe some people that will come and say, you know what, that is the beliefs of the old ones. They don't believe that now. Now you have the new Shias. They don't believe that. So he said, who is the greatest leader of the Shias of this time? He said Khomeini. And Khomeini, we quoted some things from him. I will start off today to quote from some of his books also. So you know that this is the deal right now and is the same deal before. He says Al-Khomeini in his book Al-Hukuma Al-Islamiyya. The book is called The Islamic Government. And I'll just translate to save time. I'll just speak it in English. He says, verily the Imam, like we discussed yesterday, they believe in the 12 Imams, the Imamate. He says, verily the Imam, he has a praised station, a supreme rank, and universal sovereignty, to which authority and command submit all the atoms of this universe. All the atoms of this universe, they submit to the Imam. You, a simple Muslim, when I say to you, I ask a simple question. I can pick on the youngest of them. Who is the one to whom everything submits? Allah. Khomeini says not everything. In fact, every atom, it is under the sovereignty of the Imam. He says, and of the imperatives of our religion, from the most important parts of their religion, he says, is that our Imams, they occupy a praised station which is accessible by neither a close angel or a sent prophet. No prophet or angel can be of the same equal status as those 12 Imams. And then he says, and they, with Allah, it has been related to them that they have a state with Allah which are encompassed by neither close angel or sent prophet. Al-Hukuma Al-Islamiyya, page 52. The print from Cairo, 1979. Go back, you see it. That is what he believes about the Imams. And you won't find any Shia, I guarantee you that, who will come out and say, no, what he wrote is wrong. Even worse than that, we went through the chapter yesterday of how they defamed the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I told you, these people, the shaitan entered the Persians who used to worship the fire and the atheist Persians. They entered into Islam wearing the cloth of Islam but wanting to destroy Islam from inside. He says, all the prophets, they came for the purpose of laying down the foundation of justice in the world. Do we agree to that or not? It's true. All the prophets, they were sent by Allah to establish justice in the world. But they failed to do so. Even Prophet Muhammad, the last of the prophets who came to reform mankind and to apply justice, he failed too. These are the words of Khomeini, not mine. Pure kufr. Pure kufr. Saying that the Prophet ﷺ failed. Not just him, he says even all the prophets, they failed. And you have to note, there are other stupid speakers also who have said the same thing. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, Inna Nabi ﷺ fashal. The Prophet, he failed. Like Amr Khalid. Amr Khalid, the one from Egypt. The one who trims his beard and puts the mustache like a Persian. The one they invite him for reviving Islamic spirit. He says the Prophet ﷺ fashal. He failed. That is why when we say to you, do not go to that conference, because we know the people who are there. You can go on the internet, you see him saying those words. But coming back to Khomeini, he says, in fact, maybe we just leave it there. This is enough. It makes you want to throw up. When did he say this? He said this on the 15th of Sha'ban, the year 1400, when he was giving the speech on the Milad of the Imam. 15th of Sha'ban, 1400. When he spoke these words, that's when the ulama of the Muslim world, the Rabita al-Ulama, the Muslim World League, they issued a fatwa, this guy is kafir. Shaykh al-Albani issued a fatwa, this guy is kafir. The Mufti of Tunis, of Tunisia at that time, issued a fatwa, this guy is kafir. Shaykh Abdulaziz bin Baz, all the scholars. Now let me get back to my book. The chapter, you see the extremism they have towards the graves. The graves. Like we said yesterday, Sufism and Shi'ism, those are sisters. Not twins, but they are sisters. Sufis and Shi'as. The Shia, they over-glorify the personalities just like the Sufis. The Shia, they love to worship in the graves of those personalities just like the Sufis. Now listen to what they say. He says, إن زيارة قبر الحسين بن علي رضوان الله عليهم أفضل من حج بيت الله الحرام بل إن زوار الحسين أطهار وأهل الموقف يعني عرفة فيهم أبناء الزنا. He says, visiting the grave of Hussein in Karbala, it is better than doing Hajj of Baytullah al-Haram in Mecca. In fact, those who go to the grave of Hussein, they are athar, pure people. And some of those who go to Arafah for Hajj, some of them are children of zina. This is Kitab Bihar al-Anwar of al-Majlisi, volume 98, page 85. Listen, it's coming still. More than that, it'll make you laugh, but it's very sad to find that people can be dumbed down so much to believe these fairy tales. He says, إن زيارة قبر الحسين بن علي تعدل 2000 حج و2000 عمرة و2000 غزوة وثواب كل حج وعمرة وغزوة كثواب من حج ويعتمر وغزا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ومع الأئمة الراشدين. He says, visiting the grave of Hussein, it is like doing 1,000,000 Hajj and 1,000,000 Umrah and 1,000,000 fights for jihad in the sake of Allah. And all of that Hajj and that Umrah and that fighting is like you are with the Prophet ﷺ and the Imams. Nurul Ayn fil Mashi la Ziyarat Qabr al-Hussein of Muhammad Istihbani, page 265. They continue to say, Al-Karbala or Karbala أقدس بقعة في الإسلام وأعظم من مكة والمدينة وبيت المقدس. Karbala, the place where Hussein was killed in Iraq, It is the most pure of all lands on earth. It is better than Makkah and Medina and Quds. Misbahul Jinan of Al-Kashani, page 360. I told you, this has evolved into a complete different religion now. In fact, they say, look at the extremism they have. They say, إن الأكل من طين قبر الحسين, eating from the dust, from the sand, which is on the grave of Hussein. شفاء من كل داء, it is a cure for every disease. Akhi, if you have high blood sugar, you have cancer, you have, I don't know what you have, just order some sand from the grave of Hussein, you'll be cured. According to them, not me. I'm not a doctor. The book Al-Mazar of Al-Mufid, page 125. Eating from the dust, the sand on the grave of Hussein is a cure from every disease. You know what's most strange? I'm saying this again. What's most strange is the people who believe this stuff. That is even more strange. And by the way, when you see them praying and they put that stone, you see the Shia praying, they put that round thing. That is, it has to come from the clay, from the sand in Karbala. They have a factory for that in Bahrain. A factory for making those things to make sujood on. If you cannot, then you find anyone. Try some from St. Catherine's maybe, or Toronto, downtown. Next, he says, and we mentioned this before. How they say Allah and His messengers and the prophets, they visit Hussein in his grave. We mentioned this yesterday. That is why, for those of you who know, those of you maybe are from Iraq or Iran or Afghanistan, Mazar al-Sharif and other places, you see how they glorify those graves. Those graves and those masjids, they're called mashhads, which are made of gold. Gold. Practically gold. People go and make sujood on the graves, which is pure kufr. Now moving on. Let's talk about what they say about the Sahaba. We mentioned yesterday how they say Aisha was kafira and Hafsa. They say all the Sahaba, they became kuffar. They left Islam. They left Islam after the Prophet ﷺ died, except 3 of them. Another narration, they did better. They say at least only 7, except they stayed on Islam. Meaning from 140,000 of the Sahaba, the Mujahid who fought for this deen that me and you today, by the idhn of Allah, we are Muslims. Those people, they are all kuffar. Now you sit and imagine, then why did they go and fight for Islam? Why did they fight for Islam? Why did they preserve the Sunnah? But they tell you, no, they didn't preserve it. In fact, they changed the Quran. What does it mean when you say the Sahaba are all kuffar? What does it mean? You know what it means? It means me and you, we have no religion. Because our religion has been transmitted to us by who? The Sahaba. But if they were themselves, they were hypocrites, kuffar, how can you take our religion from kuffar, right or wrong? So it means what? There's no religion for you. That is what they're getting to. That is what they're getting to. That is why, like I told you, they don't want Bukhari or Muslim Abu Dawud. They don't believe in that because those are kafirs, all of them. They have their own books. They say, وَمِنْ عَقِيدَتِنَا, from our aqidah, they say, التَّبَرُّ is to distance yourself. From who? They say, أَنَّنَا نَتَبَرَّأْ مِنَ الْأَصْنَامُ الْأَرْبَعَةِ, we distance ourselves from the 4 idols. Abu Bakr, wa Umar, wa Uthman, wa Muawiyah. They call them idols. Wa Nisa'ul Arba, and 4 women. Aisha, wa Hafsa, wa Hind, wa Ummul Hakam. ومن جميع أتباعهم وأشياعهم وأنهم شر خلق الله على وجه الأرض. And we distance ourselves from all those who follow those people, me and you. And that they are the worst of all Allah's creatures. وأنه, and that لا يتم الإيمان بالله ورسوله والأئمة إلا بعد تبرؤ من أعدائهم. And you should know from our aqidah, he says, that belief in Allah and His Messenger and the Imams, it cannot be complete unless you distance yourself from those enemies. This is Haqqul Yaqeen of Al-Majlisi, page 519. In fact, I told you, you are kafir, according to them, not me. You are kafir. They say, Abu Bakr wa Umar kafiran. Kafir man ahabbahuma. Abu Bakr and Umar are kafir, and whoever loves them is kafir. Bihar al-Anwar of Al-Majlisi, volume 69, page 137 and page 138. That is why if you see them slaughtering our brothers in Syria and slaughtering our brothers in Iran and other places in Lebanon, do not find it strange. Some people are so naive. You act so dumb. Oh, but they stand against the Americans. Who told you, Akhi? Don't believe politicians. Politics is lies. Even if they stood against the Americans, and we are not talking about politics here, it doesn't change their beliefs. They're not doing it for you. Let me go on, because they'll tell me to stop right away. I don't have time. Next, they say Abu Bakr and Umar, when they used to pray with the Prophet ﷺ, they used to have an idol on their neck, and they actually used to make sujood on the idol, not to Allah. Anwar al-Nu'mani of Al-Jazairi, page 53. So someone might ask, let me make you laugh a bit, because you guys are looking at me like you want to eat me up and chew me up. It's not me. I'm just telling you what they believe. So someone might ask, so why did the Prophet ﷺ take Abu Bakr as his closest friend? And in the time of most, when he needed me most during the Hijrah, he took him with him, right? The Prophet ﷺ took Abu Bakr and they did the Hijrah together. Listen to the explanation. They say, the Prophet ﷺ only took Abu Bakr with him and they went into the cave because he feared Abu Bakr will tell the Quraysh where the Prophet is. Tafsir of Al-Burhan of Al-Hashim Al-Bahrani, volume 2, page 127. Like I told you, our scholars of Ahlul Sunnah have said these are the worst liars. And they say, look at the way they pass the limits. They say Umar, he used to have a sickness, and that sickness will only be cured by the semen of a man. Anwar al-Nu'mani of Al-Jazairi, volume 1, page 63, and Surat al-Mustaqim of Al-Nabati, volume 3, page 28. And they say, Uthman, or before that, I don't have to mention some of these things, I know, but I will mention it. They say when their Mahdi comes out, the Mahdi they're waiting for, the 12th Imam is the Mahdi. They believe he went into a cave in Samarra in Iraq and is going to come out at the end of times. He went into that cave in the 3rd century. Today we're in the 15th century almost. Around 1,200 years almost, he's in that cave hiding, the Mahdi. We believe in the Mahdi also, but not the Mahdi who's hiding in the cave, no. We believe the Mahdi will be born in those later times. He'll be born like a normal human being. And he won't know he's the Mahdi until Allah makes the people choose him. You'll be our leader. Okay? But they believe he has been born and is hiding in a cave. Let me tell you what their Mahdi is about. They say when our Mahdi comes out, Yuhyi Abu Bakr Umar, he will resurrect Abu Bakr and Umar and take them from the graves. وَيُصْلَبُهُمَا, and he'll put them on the cross. وَيُحْرِقُهُمَا, and he'll burn them alive. ثُمَّ يُحْيِي الْمُؤْمِنِينَ عَائِشَةَ, Then he's going to take out Aisha from the grave. وَيُقِيمُ عَلَيْهَا الْحَدِّ. And he's going to apply on her the had because she's a zania, she's a fornicator. وَلِيَذَنْ بِاللَّهِ. That is what the Mahdi is going to do. Kitab al-Ruj'a of Al-Ahsa'i, page 116 and 161. And I'm not encouraging you, but if you have seen, you have come across that world of YouTube. YouTube is a whole different world. I saw one time, very funny. They go to this cave, and they've built like a well thing. It has a wire mesh. Nobody can go. And they write pieces of things of paper. They write what they want, and they fold it and they put it for the Mahdi. This is a video clip I saw. So while they were showing this, there was two young boys. They came with a flashlight, and they were flashing the light down the cave, looking for the Mahdi. Where is that? 1,200 years in a cave, imagine. No AC, no heat if it's cold. I don't know how he's surviving. You guys, 24 hours without light, huh? The ice storm last weekend, everybody is in a pandemonium. This is the khurafat they have. Now listen what the Mahdi is going to do when he comes out. Their Mahdi. They say, Anna Jibreel wa Mikael, Jibril and Mikael, wal kursi, the kursi of Allah, wal lawhul mahfuz, wal qalam, khadi'atun, they have submitted themselves, dhalila, they have humbled themselves lil Mahdi Shi'a, to the Mahdi of the Shi'a. Why? لأنه سفاح, because he's coming out to shed blood. This is Aqa'id al-Imamiyya, the book on Aqidah, their Aqidah. They write books on Aqidah just like us, of Muzaffar, page 102. You know how much is coming to shed blood? He says, أن مهدي الشيعة يأتي بأمر جديد. He'll come with a new thing. وكتاب جديد, and a new book. Like I told yesterday, they don't believe in this Quran. They say only the 12 Imams have the real Quran. So when he comes out, he'll come with the real Quran. شديد على العرب. He will be tough against the Arabs. شأنه ليس عليه شأن إلا السيف. The only thing he knows is the sword. Kitab al-Ghaiba, page 154. This is where it becomes apparent that this is propaganda from the people of Furs. You see how much they hate the Arabs. And they say, إذا خرج المهدي, when the Mahdi comes out, لم يكن بينه وبين العرب وقريش إلا السيف. The only thing between him and the Arabs and the Quraysh is the sword. Al-Ghaiba, page 154. And he says, An-Nu'man in his book, Al-Ghaiba again, he says, ما بقي بيننا وبين العرب إلا الذبح. The only thing which is remaining between us and the Arabs is to slaughter them. And he says, when the Mahdi comes out, يهدم المسجد الحرام ومسجد نبوي. He is going to destroy the Masjid of Makkah and the Masjid al-Nabawi in Medina. ويحكم بحكم آل داود. And he is going to rule with the rule of the children of Dawood. ويكلم الله باسمه العبراني. And Allah will call him by his Ibranic name, his Hebrew name. What does that tell you? He will rule by the rule of the children of Dawood. Who are those? Ahsant, Jews, Israelis. And Allah will call him by his Hebrew name. Abu Usama tonight will speak similarities. He did. The similarities between the Jews and the Shia. Like we said, the founder of the Shi'i madhab, or the Shi'i group, was a Jew, Abdullah bin Saba. This is in more than one book to show it's not something strange. Bihar al-Anwar of Majlisi, volume 52, page 338. Usul al-Kafi, the most authentic book, page 397. Kitab al-Ghayb of Nu'mani, page 326. Al-Ruj'a of al-Ahsai, page 51. Furu' al-Kafi of Kulaini. That is enough. You know, when you see Hassan, it means one thing, huh? What does it mean? It means thumbs up. Let us discuss. You see how these people are corrupt. Not just when you corrupt in your aqidah, your actions become corrupt also. This is a cult. And like we said yesterday though, some of the general folk, the general public, those who are Shias, they don't know some of this stuff. They don't know. Not everyone knows. Not everyone knows. Now someone might ask, okay Sheikh, you are saying all of this. I have a Shia friend. How come I have not heard him saying this? Right or wrong? You are going to ask me that. How come my Shia friend doesn't say this? In fact, he says no, he doesn't believe in that. Let me answer your question. Let me quench your thirst. The Shia, they have something called tuqya or taqiyya. Taqiyya. You know what taqiyya is? Let them define them themselves. That is the good part about this lecture. We are only quoting from their books. At-taqiyya, listen. And how important is taqiyya? It says at-taqiyya وهي أن يظهر أحدهم خلاف ما يبطن. Is for a Shia individual to make apparent or to hide what he believes. Is for him to hide what he believes. To say the opposite of what he believes. أن تقول أو تفعل غير ما تعتقد is for you to say or to do the things which you don't believe in. لتدفع الضرر, so that you can protect yourself. أو لتحفظ كرامتك, also that you can preserve your honor. This is how a Shia في الميزان, Muhammad Jawad, page 48. This is how he defined it. To say and to act in the way which you don't believe, just to protect yourself or your honor. That is why they won't come. You think they'll come to you and say to you, I hate Abu Bakr and Umar? No, they say, you know what, I love them. And his heart, he's cursing them. If they love them, find me one Shia, his name is Abu Bakr. One. I will give you $1,000, akhi. I am saying it in front of the camera here. I'll give you $1,000. Find me a Shia who's Abu Bakr. Or even better, Umar. Find me a Shia who's Umar. Now, how important is this taqiyya? He says, in Usulul Kafi, the most authentic book of the Shia, of Kulaini, volume 2, page 217, he says, تسعة أعشار الدين في تقية. تسعة أعشار الدين. 9/10. 9/10. How much percentage is that? 90% of our deen is taqiyya. ولا دين لما لا تقي له. And whoever does not practice taqiyya, he does not have a deen. That is why they practice it every single moment. That is why you have not heard them saying this. But for those who know them, they know them. This is the most authentic book of the Shia. They say 90% of our deen is taqiyya. Not me. I did not say it. We know how Islam is against kadhib, lying. We know how Islam is against cheating. This is what? What is this? This is nifaq, hypocrisy. And he says, again, Usulul Kafi, the most authentic book, volume 2, page 222. إنكم على دين من كتمه أعزه ومن أذاعه أذله الله. Look how they corrupt their followers. He says to them, you are upon a religion. Which religion is this? How do you define it? The one who hides it, then it will honor him. And the one who reveals his religion, what he believes, then Allah will put him down. Lakin alhamdulillah, Allah brought to you someone like me. And there's more, in fact. I need a whole month to speak about the Shia. Let me finish off. even though there's a lot to talk about. But let me mention some of the khurafat, because I promised you this. Some of the khurafat, those fantasy beliefs, corrupt beliefs which nobody can take except the Shia and the Sufis. You know, like we mentioned, the Sheikh who the Kaaba comes to him. There's the other Sheikh, famous story in our country, this Sufi Sheikh. He was sitting, you know, then he went to his house. He told his students, wait for me. After 5 minutes he came and there was water on him. And they asked him, Maulana, what happened? He said, my brothers in Yemen, they called me there was a fire there. And I went to put it off. This is some of the water they were pouring. Yes, they believe, the Sufis, they believe their Sheikh, he can be in more than one place at one time. Listen to some of the khurafat of the Shia. And you have to bear with me today. I decided to delay Salatul Maghrib a bit. We're still praying on time. There's no problem. There's no problem. They say, and you know what is funny? Some of this is from the most authentic book. That's why, wallah, you feel sad sometimes. How can people believe this stuff? They say, إِنَّ نَفَرٌ مِنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ تَشَاجَرُوا. There's a group of angels, they started to argue. Angels, they are arguing. فَسَأَلُوا حَكَمًا مِنَ الْآدَمِيِّينَ. So they say, you know what? Let's find a judge from the human beings. He's going to judge us. فَأَوْحَى اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِمْ. So Allah, He said to them, okay, choose. Who do you want as a judge? So they chose Ali ibn Abi Talib. How do angels argue? And they have Allah, but Allah says, go find a human being to judge. This is the Musnad Fatima, page 296. Now let's come to Usulul Kafi, the most authentic book. Volume 1, page 237. They said, Inna al-himara Ufair, the donkey, Ufair, kallama Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He spoke to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he said, and by the way, Ufair was a donkey of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That is true. But this never happened. Whatever I'm going to mention is just one of the fairy fables of the Shia. It says this donkey spoke to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said to him, Bi abi anta wa ummi. May my mother and my father be sacrificed for you. Inna abi haddathani an abihi an jaddihi an abihi. My father, don't laugh please. My father, he narrated to me from his father, from his grandfather, from his father. It's an isnad, chain of donkeys. Listen to the story. He said, he informed me, he said, my grandfather, أنه كان مع نوح في السفينة. That grandfather of mine was with Nuh in the Safina, in the ark of Nuh. فقام إليه النوح فمسح على كفله. So Nuh stood to that donkey and he wiped on that donkey. ثم قال, and then Nuh عليه السلام, he said, يخرج من صلب هذا الحمار. They will come out from the progeny, from the children of this donkey, حمار, a donkey, يركبه سيد النبيين, a donkey who will be rode by the chief of all the prophets. Then Ufair said to the Prophet, فالحمد لله الذي جعلني ذلك الحمار. I thank Allah who made me that donkey. You have never heard of isnad like this, that chain of narration of donkeys. Now this is the most authentic book, wallahi. Yes, you have to laugh. You have to laugh. What religion is this? And how does a donkey he gives his father and his mother sacrifice for the Prophet? Anyway, there's some things, like I said yesterday, is 18 plus. I will reserve it for myself, or for those who will be interested if they want to come and know. Anyway, some of the stuff they say, those imams of theirs, the 12 imams, their urine, their feces, their blood is not najis. In fact, it's pure like misk. Rather, the one who drinks their urine or their blood, يَحْرُمُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ النَّارِ. Allah will make him never go to the hellfire, and he'll go to Jannah. The book Anwarul Wilaya of Kalbaya Kandi, page 440. Some of the stuff I cannot say. I am serious, I cannot say. I'm finishing off. I'm finishing off. Khomeini, the leader of this time. Look how these people are so evil and corrupt. If only you guys knew what is really happening in Iran. Some of you won't have these good sentiments you have for them. If only you knew. I didn't touch about mut'ah. I didn't touch because we don't have time. You guys stay updated on the website, Abu Huraira website. Maybe soon, one of these weekends, we're going to do this again, in detail. He says, Khomeini, it is not allowed for someone to be homosexual. Of course, all of us agree to that. But it is allowed for you, for a man, to go and get yourself to do surgery to change your sex completely. That is okay. That is halal. That is what Khomeini has gave his fatwa about. You don't believe me? You go to CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. They had a documentary on this. Imagine. He says to change your sex, that's okay. They have lineups in Iran. Lineups. People doing that. If I'm not wrong, the government, their government subsidizes it. Islamic government. What Islamic government? What Islamic government? You don't believe me? Go. Research yourself. Take my word. If you don't find it, I'll give you $1,000. If you know how to search Google. Yeah. If you don't know how to search, that's your problem. Yeah. And he says, look how corrupt this man was. He says, when he was asked about what is the age you can get married? He says the age you can get married to any woman at any age. Any age. But the woman who's under 9 years old, you cannot have intercourse with her. But sa'irul istimta'at, other types of enjoyment, like touching or putting your private part between his thighs, or whatever, it is okay to do that even with an infant girl, a baby who is breastfeeding. I am sorry, I will spill it all today. He said that in his book, Tahrir al-Wasila, volume 2, page 221. These people are corrupt. You guys have no idea. You have no idea. Let me just go. Let's pray Maghrib. Let's pray Maghrib. You have questions on the Shia, you write them down. We'll answer them later on. Whatever I said, it is all quoted. One very important thing before we finish. One very important thing. This is not a call for anyone, whether individual or groups, to go out and commit any act of violence against anyone. We are just learning what is the truth and what is not. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك